Senator Cayetano, you asked for
Yes, Mr. Chair.
10 minutes.
Mr. Chair, with the permission of the Chair, let me use this opportunity to join the issues. Sa umpisa ho ng hearing natin, sinabi ng ating chairman, importante na hindi kalat ang ating hearing, hindi ito isang lynching, hindi ito isang paghahanap ng kasalanan sa isang tao, isang pamilya o isang syudad, kung hindi ito isang legislative hearing in aid of legislation ng Blue Ribbon Committee. Pero paulit-ulit pong sinasabi ng ating Vice Presidente at minsan po nadadala yung ibang mga kolumnista o mga anchor sa radyo na sinasabing wala pang na-represent na ebidensya. And as we know, there are only maybe 40,000-50,000 lawyers in a country of 100 million people. So allow me, Mr. Chair, to make a short presentation to share or to put on record what evidence is and what evidence have been submitted. And then from there, go to the next witness. Let me start first with a biblical principle. For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor is anything secret that will not be known and come to light. Walang natatago na di nalalantad at walang lihim na di nabubunyag. Bakit ko sinasabi to, Mr. President? Sapagkat, Mr. Chairman, sapagkat po kune-question kung in aid of legislation po ito, kompleto na po lahat ng Supreme Court decisions na nagsasabing ang fact-finding ay parte ng in aid of legislation. And hindi parate na meron kang batas na ipapasa. Minsan may batas kang i-amendahan, minsan may batas kang i-repeal, or minsan sa Blue Ribbon Committee, you will recommend filing of cases. So yung paulit-ulit na sinasabi ng Vice Presidente at ng kanyang mga spokesmen na wala naman pong in aid of legislation dito, sa Supreme Court nilang dalhin dahil paulit-ulit sinabi ng Supreme Court na ang fact-finding ay mahalagang parte ng in aid of legislation. So what is evidence? In Section 1, Rule 128, Revised Rules of Evidence, evidence is the means of ascertaining in a judicial proceeding the truth respecting a matter of fact. Or in the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, evidence is an outward sign, indication, something that furnishes proof, testimony, specifically something legally submitted to a tribunal to ascertain the truth of a matter. Or simply said, Mr. President, isa itong patunay. Ang patunay po ay pwedeng testimonya, pwede pong iba, para patunayan na totoo ang isang bagay na gustong dalhin sa isang korte o isang legal na proceedings. There are three kinds of evidence, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman. Object evidence, those addressed to the senses of the court, Section 130, Section 1, Revised Rules of Evidence. For example, kung you want to say na masarap ang isang pagkain, this is the object evidence. Nandito po yung biskwit, yan po ang ebidensya na ang biskwit ay nandito, titikman natin. Yan po ang object evidence. Documentary evidence, evidence consisting of writing or any materials containing letters, words, figures, symbols, or other modes of written expression offered as proof of their contents. Section 30, Rule 130, Section 2, Revised Rules on Evidence. An example is the letter of J. Bros. They are here today, but this forms part of documentary evidence. And the third is testimonial evidence, that which is given by witnesses in court. In this regard, all persons who can perceive and perceiving can make known their perception to others may be witnesses. Rule 130, Section 1, Revised Rules of Evidence. Isang matinding halimbawa po dito yung ZTE investigation. Ang ating pong star witness noon ay si Mr. June Losada. Sa pamamagitan ng kanyang testimonya, kinasuhan po ng ombudsman sa Sandigan Bayan ang mga dating opisyales ng Arroyo government sa ZTE. So sa sinasabi po ng ating Vice Presidente na wala pong ebidensya or sabi-sabi lang po yun, testimonial evidence is one of the highest form of evidence. So let's go quickly to the Makati parking building case. Main allegations. Ito po ang mga issues para po pasimplin lahat kasi minsan kung saan-saan pumupunta. The Makati parking building is overpriced. Ibig sabihin, pinatungan ng presyo, mahal masyado, may tongpats. Yung pong allegation. Pangalawa, the bidding for the Makati parking building is rigged or in other words, niluto po ang bidding ng Makati parking bidding. Pangatlo, there is a system or pattern of corruption in Makati City under the binays. In other words, Mr. Chairman, ang sinasabi po, kalakaran po sa Makati na luto na po ang mga bidding at meron pong lagayan. These are all allegations. So the allegations can be true, it can be not true. That's why both sides will present proof. Sabi po ni Vice President Binay, ayaw niya mag-appear dito at ngayon ayaw ng anak niya kasi magtatanong daw sa kanya ay against sa kanya. By the way, the Vice President knows because he's a lawyer, that is our legal system. Sa korte, ang magtatanong sa iyo, magkro-cross-examine, hindi yung kakampi mong abogado. Ang magtatanong sa iyo, yung kalaban mong abogado. Ang direct examination, yung kakampi mong abogado. Pero yung kalaban mong abogado, yun ang magpapalabas kung totoo ang sinasabi mo o hindi. So he can have all the speeches and all the press cons. Pero if there is no cross-examination, people will not know if he's telling the truth. Sa cross-examination lang, Mr. Chair, na lumalabas ang katotohanan. So katulad po nito, no, allegation number 1, the Makati parking building is overpriced. So far po, ito po ang nasubmit sa committee. 84,000 per square meters. Hindi ko na po per square meter. Hindi ko na po babasahin lahat, but basically 5 floors, 5 floors for parking, 6 floors for parking space, floor area 31,000 square meters. We all know that already. It was submitted to us. What was the evidence so far delivered to prove? No? First, there was object evidence. The building itself, nakatayo. Nagkaroon ng ocular inspection. Experts were there. So that's one evidence, the building itself. Documentary evidence. Estimates of Cuervo valuers and advisory, CVNA, comparisons of Zulig and Shangran Tower, comparisons with other first-class condominium buildings, Davis, Langdon, and Seya or DLS Construction Cost Handbook, documents submitted by COA and documents submitted by Makati itself. For example, to prove magkano po ang building, Makati po mismo ang nag-submit ng mga dokumento. Testimonial evidence were given, and these are not ordinary witnesses. These are expert witnesses. Mr. Federico Cuervo of CVNA have patiently been with us all these hearings. Testimony of Mr. Greg Jackson, a qualified quantity surveyor. Testimony of Architect Danilo Alano, Philippine Institute of Architects. Testimony of Chairperson Grace Pulido-Tan. Testimony of the COA Special Audit Team. Testimony of city officials of Makati, and testimony of hillmarks, no? Meaning, yung mismo pong hillmarks, mismo pong Makati, mismo pong COA team, nung sila'y krinos-examine, lumabas dito yung ebidensya. Of course, we had the star witnesses, Vice Mayor Mercado, who just walked into the room. We had the former General Services Department Head, Engineer Mario Hechanova, and we had other witnesses, no? Very quickly, ito po ang sinabit ng Cuervo valuers na 23,000 per square in 2007, 26,945 pesos and 30 cents per square kung Class A na yung mga materyales, which hindi po yun ang nakita nung inspection. Nakita din po natin yung Zulig building versus yung parking building, kalahati lang po ang presyo, samantalang yung isa ay first-class condominium building, yung isa po ay parking building. Nakita din po natin yung tatlong iba pang mga klaseng building na ipinakita na. Susunod po, nakita po natin ang opisyal na sulat ng may-ari ng Siang Properties sa Siang Grand Tower ay 26,278 per square meter. Sa construction cost for the Philippines 2007, sa DLS handbook ay napakita natin paulit-ulit na car parks are 12 to 18,000. Even if we consider this as a high-rise, it will only be 30 to 37,000 pesos if it's a prestige office high-rise na mas maraming mas maraming partitions, may banyo, opisina, no? Still doble, triple ang presyo ng building. Same thing in 2012. I'll just go through this quickly, Mr. Chair, without reading it anymore, no? Mr. Jackson already gave his testimony kung anong tingin niya po. Sabi niya, medyo ordinaryo, nothing unusual in the finishes and materials, no? Architect Danilo Alano agreed, no, with the average level of materials. Number 2, the bidding for Makati parking building, the bidding was rigged or niluto yung bidding. We had testimonial evidence by Engineer Mario Hechanova, former Department Head, General Services, Makati, and later on po, we will have additional witnesses today. Documentary evidence, the letter of Mr. Alejandro TEnco, COO of J. Bros Construction, but he is here today, so rather than to rely on the document, we will ask him. No? So we all know already the testimony na sinasabi po ni Mr. Hechanova na kalakaran na sa Makati na alam na kung sino yung mga mananalo. Next slide. I'll not discuss the letter because anyway, Mr. TEnco is here today. We'll go to him later. Lastly, Mr. Chairman, there is a pattern of corruption in Makati. Testimonial evidence of former Vice Mayor Mercado na meron 13%, 13%, sa pamilya Binay pa lang po. No? At sinabi po niya na hindi niya pa ina-elaborate yung total na lagayan o bigayan because gusto niya yung sa personal knowledge niya muna na siya nagdi-deliver. Testimony of Engineer Mario Hechanova, testimony of Marshal Lichauco, yung General Manager po ng 911 Alarm, na siya po ay inipit sa elevator. 6 na elevator ang Makati City Building, 2 lang po pinaandar. Yung sa isa po, 1 hour and 3 minutes po sila kinulong sa loob ng elevator. Yung mismong contractor po. Hindi pa ho sapat yung kanyang testimony. Nag-submit din po siya ng mga sulat, yung kanyang motion for reconsideration na pinapakita ng bidding ay niwalang specification. Kaya paano magkakaroon ng bidding, etc., Mr. Chair. So, Chair, 13%, ito po ay mga quote sa mga witnesses. Next slide, please. Lahat ng bidding niluluto, sabi ni Mr. Hechanova. Elevator incident. Letters from Mr. Lichauco. Testimony from Mr. Lichauco. There's testimony on the garbage contract and on the ghost employees. Strictly speaking, Mr. Chairman, we're not talking about other contracts in Makati. But to prove the pattern of corruption, we have accepted this evidence, and this is a usual practice in court, Mr. Chair, that either you want to test the credibility of the witness or you want to show a pattern, you allow this kind of evidence to be presented. So, of course, the ghost employees and garbage contract are allegations, and right now we just have testimony of one person. What was the defense of the binays? It was world-class, green building, and cleared by COA. Pero mismo pong chairman ng COA ang nagsabing wala silang clinic-clear and in due time, they will make their report here. So let's wait for the report. No? At mismo na rin po ang contractor, Attorney Peig is here, sinabi niya they never claimed it is world-class. And after examining, it is not a LEED, it is not a certified green building. So Mr. Chair, yung ebidensya ay nandyan po. We are waiting for the binays to submit their own evidence kung meron man. Lastly, Mr. Chair, no, paulit-ulit pong sinasabi sa television, sa radyo, na magtrabaho na lang kayo, kawawa naman ng mga tao sa LRT, kawawa sa MRT, kawawa naman mga tao, mga magsasakay, etc. Let me just put into the record, Mr. Chair, hindi lang naman po ito ginagawa natin. Ito lang ang nate-televise. Pero while we're hearing now, there are 3 hearings ongoing in the Senate. Yung sa emergency power sa kuryente at yung pong sa Torre de Manila, dun po sa heritage site sa Rizal Monument. No? For the record, Mr. Chair, this session, no, we had 25 plenary hearings, 26 budget hearings, 75 hearings, all in all, including subcommittee hearings. We enacted into law 13 laws, 14 bills passed on 3rd reading in 25 plenary hearings. 4 bills were ratified by both houses at medyo landmark po yung dalawa. Yung pong coverage, PhilHealth coverage for all senior citizens at saka po yung Iskola ng Bayan kung saan po lahat ng top 10 na isa-certify ng DepEd na graduate ng March at April 2015 ay automatic nang tatanggapin ng mga state use sa kanilang region at libre na. We also passed the ladderized education and open distance learning. So, Mr. Chair, let me just assure our people na habang nilalabanan natin ang korupsyon, ginagawa din natin ang dapat gawin. So, Mr. Chair, we are continuing the line of evidence. No? Tumigil po tayo last hearing na tinanong ko po sa City Administrator kung tinatawagan po nila ang ibang mga contractor, kung tinatawagan nila ibang witnesses na wag pumunta dito, no? So I'd like to take off from that, but let me ask Mr. Peig if he can answer, no? Did hillmarks call any other contractors to tell them na sumama sa bid pero lulutuin nyo at kayo mananalo?
I cannot give an answer for that question, Your Honor.
Well, you know, we allow you, Mr. Peig, to be here.
What's the answer of Attorney Peig? I did not get it. What did you say?
I am not competent to answer that question, Your Honor.
But I thought, Attorney Peig, nung unang appearance mo, sinabi mo dito, na legal ang bidding at hindi niluto ng hillmarks yung bidding.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, kung hindi niluto yung bidding, ibig sabihin, wala kayong kinausap na ibang contractor para sabihin, boss, sumali kayo dyan, ha, pero kami mananalo dyan.
I would like to clarify my answer, Your Honor. We did not talk to anyone, Your Honor.
Okay. Sige. So, may I go now to Mr. TEnco? So, what is evidence, no? In Section 1, Rule 128, Revised Rules of Evidence, evidence is the means of ascertaining in a judicial proceeding the truth respecting a matter of fact. Or in the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, evidence is an outward sign, indication, something that furnishes proof, testimony, specifically something legally submitted to a tribunal to ascertain the truth of a matter. Or simply said, Mr. President, isa itong patunay.
Senator Cayetano, you asked for
Yes, Mr. Chair.
10 minutes.
Mr. Chair, with the permission of the Chair, no, let me use this opportunity to join the issues. No, sa umpisa ho ng hearing natin, sinabi ng ating chairman, importante na hindi kalat ang ating hearing, hindi ito isang lynching, hindi ito isang paghahanap ng kasalanan sa isang tao, isang pamilya o isang syudad, kung hindi ito isang legislative hearing in aid of legislation ng Blue Ribbon Committee. Let me start first with a biblical principle, no? For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor is anything secret that will not be known and come to light. Walang natatago na di nalalantad at walang lihim na di nabubunyag, no? Bakit ko sinasabi to, Mr. President? Sapagkat, Mr. Chairman, sapagkat po kune-question kung in aid of legislation po ito, kompleto na po lahat ng Supreme Court decisions na nagsasabing ang fact-finding ay parte ng in aid of legislation. Pero paulit-ulit pong sinasabi ng ating Vice Presidente at minsan po nadadala yung ibang mga kolumnista o mga anchor sa radyo na sinasabing wala pang na-represent na ebidensya. And as we know, there are only maybe 40, 50,000 lawyers in a country of 100 million people. So allow me, Mr. Chair, to make a short presentation to share or to put on record what evidence is and what evidence have been submitted. And then from there, go to the next witness, no? And hindi parate na meron kang batas na ipapasa. Minsan may batas kang i-amendahan, minsan may batas kang i-repeal, or minsan sa Blue Ribbon Committee, you will recommend filing of cases. So yung paulit-ulit na sinasabi ng Vice Presidente at ng kanyang mga spokesmen na wala naman pong in aid of legislation dito, sa Supreme Court nilang dalhin dahil paulit-ulit sinabi ng Supreme Court na ang fact-finding ay mahalagang parte ng in aid of legislation.